Now the big question is audio working? If it is, can I have a thumbs up in the chat, please? Because I'm trying to run the audio off my Mac. Any takers? Woo! Right, let's go for it. So, why are we sat inside? Because today we're going to mess around with the king of consoles, the Sony PlayStation 2. Full disclosure, I have absolutely no idea if this is going to work. And by work, I mean even turn on. I've got Namco Gun Con, which is not even from a PS2, it's from a PS1. And this was classed as junk from Japan, so I don't even know if this works. And the idea is we're going to hook it up to this TV, and we're going to try and rewire one of the buttons on the gun to make a foot pedal, so we can have a proper arcade Time Crisis foot pedal, because we're going to build an arcade cabinet out of that, but not today. But the mission today is make a foot pedal, try and get this gun working, and see if the PlayStation works. I've only got Time Crisis 3. I know it's not a classic. I would have preferred Time Crisis 2, but what can you do? COVID, I know. But take this apart, see if we can rewire that button. I've got a little push button here, and I'm hoping it's the same closed circuit button as this, and not push to open, but we'll find out. And then I've got some hinges, some springs, and hopefully we can screw it all together, and by the time 3 o'clock comes around, we will get a working foot pedal. But we'll see how it goes. So, I think first things first. Today's episode is sponsored by Bermaretti for a refreshing Italian twist. Franco, hello if you're watching. It was nice of Namco to just use Phillips head screws, or JPS screws, JPS, Japanese screws in this, instead of some proprietary screw head, which is often the case with consoles. Again, I have no idea if this even works, so this might be a very short, hang on, they're long, not even short. So this might be a very short trip, but we can at least rewire it anyway and get a working prototype. It would have been nice to have some checker plate for this, for like a proper footboard, but I could probably stick some aluminium checker plate on this. But this is nice and sturdy and nice and thick as well, so when you're pressing on it, it won't bend. And I'm hoping, I've got some little springs. I just took these out of like coat hangers, you know, the coat hangers that you squeeze and they grab your trousers. So I just smashed these out of there, and I'm hoping they're strong enough to hold the weight of that pedal. Who knows? We'll find out. So, yes, let's take this apart. I've never been in one of these before. I took apart one of the GunCon 2s, which is the proper gun for the PS2, when I was a little kid, because I painted it with Hammerite to make it look like metal, and it was badass. But I've never been inside one of these before. So this is the proper old school original one for the PlayStation 1 with the actual controller port as opposed to USB. But I'm hoping it still works. I've no idea if it's compatible. Yeah, I mean it says G-Con 45, which is what I think this is. So I'm hoping it works with this. We'll find out. We can but try. Right. Is this all going to fall apart? Oh, nice. So, that's off. Yeah, stay hydrated. Oh, hang on. If I got the face detection thing, it says. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, it's either that or have a box there permanently. I need to work it out. It doesn't do it on this camera, but it does it on that camera. First world problems, I know. Right, so this is what the innards look like. It's very simple. That button's falling off. That's not the button we want. That's actually the start. The button's on the inside. So it's really simple. Little switch under there. And just it's the same on the other side. It's a two-sided board. And then a really simple control with that. Some sort of optical thing. There must be some video processing to take that from there, and a trigger, which is just a simple tack switch on there. So we'll leave that as it is. Basically all we're doing is wiring up this switch. So we've got 2 reds and 2 grounds, so it even has on it there, nicely printed for us. Zoom in. Focus. B1 and B2, and what we want to press is, who knows, we'll find out. A1 and A2, right, okay, so the circuit is on there. So essentially, if we wire this switch up to A1 and A2, and we can wire it up in parallel, we don't need to desolder it, hopefully that will close the circuit and we'll be able to press the button. So let's try. So maybe if I use this camera and just don't show my face, there you go, then there's no face detection. I'll just show the face on the beer. Does it detect the face on the beer? Haha, stupid computer. Right, so let's wire this up. Or try and wire this up anyway. Is that in focus? No one likes autofocus. There we go. Any questions? Where do you get the ideas from? Clearly, JP, I get them from about 5 minutes before the live stream starts. Basically, I bought this big TV for £5 off eBay from a little old lady, and it's actually a really good TV. It's flat screen CRT, which was like right at the end of the life of CRT, and it's got component video input, which is really high quality, which you can run off the PS2. So I'm really happy about this, and it will make an amazing cabinet to play Time Crisis on. And then since then, I've been like, right, so I need to get hold of some guns. I'm going to get 2, so I can actually, you can have 2-player or double fisting. My mate Birdie gave me his old PlayStation. Asterisk, does it work? Who knows? We'll find out. And since then, it was like, right, it'd be great to build a cabinet, but one of the fun things about the actual arcade cabinet was the foot pedal. So I think you could buy like plug-in foot pedals, but not for the official gun. You could buy it for the knockoff sort of cheap third-party guns. But all it is basically you press that button to duck. So if I can rewire that button into the pedal, you'll be able to duck in the game. That's where I get my ideas from. I actually sat down this morning with a bunch of post-it notes, coming up with things to do for the live stream. There's lots of them, so these are all potential ideas, and I basically just potluck. This was the one that we're doing. It could have been anything, but yeah, I get inspiration from movies, from you guys mostly, because you're all so talented and do different things. So I watch what you guys do and go, hey, that'd be really cool. But anyway, let's crack on. I'm rambling. So we need to wire up A1 and A2 to close that switch. And we've got some wire here. And I'm hoping we can run it out of the bottom of there and not actually have to drill any holes. But as I say, this is a junk gun, so you know it's not the end of the world if we have to drill a hole in it. Right, so basically I need enough cable to run from the gun down to my foot, if that makes sense, and 2 lots. So I'm guessing about 8 feet will do it. I'm hoping that's not too much resistance in the length of wire. I've no idea what signal is running through these switches, but we'll just wing it and assume it's going to work, and if it doesn't work, we tried. Okay, so I don't have 2 different colour wires, but I don't care. If it's good enough for Namco, it's good enough for me. Get yourself a good pair of wire strippers. They don't have to be expensive, just not the really cheap crap ones that you get. It's worth it. Hello, hello, hello everyone. Hello John. Hello Jake. Kids in the house. Inside Alan. Oh, solid core copper wire. Treat yourself. I think it's time to warm up the old soldering iron. So it should just be a case of closing that circuit. We've got the voltmeter, multimeter, so we can check that the circuit works, even if the actual gun doesn't work. Helping hands are amazing. Life hack: if you don't have some pair of these, get some. Get some. I mean, I could actually solder it into the board if that's easier. Is that easier? It might be easier. No, I don't want to move that because it's got the optical thing on. Right. Soldering iron. Again, like the wire strippers, spend the money and get a good soldering iron. This was like $80, but with a proper station thing where you can set the voltage. Don't just get one of those ones that just plug in straight to the wall. They're just rubbish. They're not powerful enough, and you'll just get frustrated and hate soldering. Whereas using this is a joy. Another life hack: use leaded solder because it's great and melts really easily and wicks into all the joints. Just don't breathe in while you use it. I've lost my little clicker for the camera change, so it's not as slick as usual. How many times have you imagined the helping hand singing "You've Got a Friend in Me"? Well, never until now, JP, but it's going to be the only song I sing when I use the helping hands. Fresh from the Fools with Tools sis post. Don't know what that means. I'll take your word for it, James. Just wear a full metal helmet, maybe. Just wear a full metal helmet. Oh, I could have done that. I could have been in costume. It's just Jamie. This could be better lit, I guess, but who cares? Right. So, switch that bad boy on. We plugged in. 300 is a good number, and a good film, and an incredibly good comic book. Until Frank Miller got cancelled. Just tin your wires, it makes life easy. Actually, these are a little bit long. Probably get a short if you're not careful. This solder is actually hollow core as well, and it's got a 5 core, and it's got the flux built in. Built-in flux. Right. Solder this up. Let's follow those wires so it's nice and neat. Little backhand solder in there. Zoom in. Treat ourselves. Focus. There's one. By the way, for anyone wondering and that doesn't do electronics or mess around with things like this is how easy it is. Just take things apart and just mess about with it. As long as you know the basics, it's all pretty simple. We start getting into logic and digital electronics. It's a little bit more complicated. You have to know coding and stuff. But for analog stuff like this, it's easy. I mean, all we're doing is moving that switch somewhere else. It's not complicated. I mean, that is essentially the hard part done. So if we can get that back in without undoing all our hard work. Put the little pad back on. Put the B button. And if I can run these somewhere inconspicuous, like down there. Oh no, is that going to be... we'll try. Out that hole. Nothing doubt. Just jam it in. Can't see what you're doing, Al. No. No. So I'm going to try rerouting it down there under the trigger, but I'm just not sure if that bit will get caught. If not, we'll go somewhere else. So I can't go under there. Oh, I could maybe go under there actually. That's probably easier. Not as satisfying. There we go. Let's follow the little slalom. So the reason the cable follows these little slalom paths is so that you can't tug the cable out of the thing and wreck the wiring. So you'll often find that in anything like controllers where kids are throwing them around, tugging on wires, or power tools as well inside. There'll always be a little bit of a loop. I reckon we could salvage that close. Ah, yes. Fantastic. Screw it back in. Can you make a couple of Xbox 360 guitars? So, JP, interestingly you ask, not Xbox 360, because I'm not a dick, but on the PS3, maybe, or PS2, I had the Guitar Hero guitar, and I basically took it all apart, took the innards out, pretty much like this. It was basically just a controller with all the buttons, and put it into my old Fender Stratocaster. It wasn't a Fender, it was a crap, like 50 quid knockoff. But I took all the guts out and put all the buttons in on the neck of a real guitar. So upstairs, I'll go and get it if we've got time at the end. I've got a real Strat Guitar Hero guitar. But yes, if we could get Tom Peterson, I'm going to turn that soldering off for now. If we could get Tom to build us a wicked guitar and then use it for actually rock, what's it called? Rock Band or Guitar Hero, that would be amazing. Gotta love built-in flux. Yeah, great shout, Jeff. It was a game changer. I didn't know it existed until I got it. I used to just get the cheap lead-free solder that they're always pushing wherever you go. But if you actually spend a few bucks more and get something, it's a joy to work with. So I'm hoping we'll button this back up and wire up our button. So obviously 2 little piddly wires coming out of here is not ideal. The plan is, if this all works, and when we build the cabinet, is to get like a bathroom hose, like a metal concertina, for want of a better word, I don't know the real term, hose, and put over this, like they do in the arcades, and then all the wiring is captured in, and you could even run the AV video cable and stuff, so everything's in one wire, and it's super protected, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, if we can actually get this working first, and then now this is unprecedented. Even though there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws, I've managed to put something back together and use all the screws. This is literally a first for me. There we go. I actually prefer this style of gun to the GunCon 2. The GunCon 2 is a bit shorter and stubbier. This is like the real arcade one. Of course, the arcade one actually has recoil when you fire. Motorized recoil with a little solenoid inside. I've seen people mod these to do that, or you could try and get hold of an actual original one from an arcade machine because people tear them down. Again, that would be a really cool mod. I don't know if that's part of this project. And also, they ain't grey, they're pink and blue, so this needs a paint job at some point to match the arcade, and we'll have one of each for 2-player. Yes, Carl, this is a G-Con, original, old school, PlayStation 1. We're going to try and use it on a PS2 and see if it works. It should be fine. Right, let's get a bit of facial recognition back on. Oh no, our camera, it's broken. Oh, that's no good. Hey, there we go. Perform. No thanks. Right. Other ends of these wires, please. They are stripped. Let's wire up to the switch. The Switch. Power console that is 5 years old is still the same price as it was when it came out. It baffles me. And I ain't paying 300 quid for a Switch. So it's probably one of the first generation of consoles where I never actually got on board. As cool as they are, and I think there's some great games on it, I do not own a Switch. So, it doesn't matter which connection we use on this Switch. All it's basically doing is essentially closing those 2 wires together. So we can wire it up anyway we want. I'm going to solder it just because if I don't, it will put solder. Because if I don't, it will just come apart. Feed that in from the back. Boop. What I didn't think about is how we're going to attach this switch to the base, the buttery biscuit base. I could probably get a spade bit and just drill a hole for that. But we'll work it out. We've got like half an hour left, this is fine. Okay. I mean, if I had the foresight, I'd have put the hot glue gun in, and then I could have just hot glue this on as well for a bit of extra strength. But I think for proof of concept, this will be fine. And then solder's just slightly more poisonous hot glue anyway. So there we go. So in theory, that is the same thing now as doing that. So we can attach this to the foot pedal and achieve the same thing, which is hopefully crouching during the game, which is the whole point. Yeah, I mean this could do with being twisted actually, so it's a little bit less cumbersome. Let's do that now. Treat ourselves. Probably an easier way to do this. Everyone sensible's probably shouting at the screen right now. That's not how you twist wire. That's how I do it, for the purposes of this exercise. Rein it in a little bit here. You just put the two ends of the wire in a drill and just turn it on. I mean, this is a rhetorical question, but shall we test to see if the switch works first, or should we just build it, get to 2 minutes to 3, and then just hope it works? I would know the answer. Right, so that is the electronic stuff done. So I can get rid of the soldering iron. Give ourselves a bit of room. Don't burn yourself. Now the idea is hinges on here, flappy flappy flap, switch right at the end because I want this to only close once it's fully down. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. You know what? Let's get the hot glue gun because I reckon we could just glue that in place for now. Proof of concept, see if it works, and then worry about making it pretty later. It is Al from Al's Snack Pack, Al's food truck, Al's Scran Van. There should be a group called the Safety Beards. There should be a group called the Safety Beards, JP. And we could have a theme song by Men at Work. Safety glasses. Safety glasses Alice Band. Yes. So I've been working on a car a lot, and this is really irritating. Especially when you try to slide under a car or do anything with moving parts where things can get caught. So this always means that I have safety glasses because who knows when you might need them. And yeah, it keeps hair out my eyes. I could just not have long hair, but you know, priorities. Did I hear hot glue gun? So if you heard hot glue gun, go get yourself a delicious beverage. I'll be back in 30 seconds with the hot glue gun. Woohoo! We're back. Highly recommend this hot glue gun, by the way. Cheap as chips. Had it for years. Never missed a beat. Yeah, there's no flow control or temperature control or anything, but it's utilitarian. For anyone that's wondering, Al, why are you working in the living room? This isn't the living room. This is a garage. Because there's a fully disassembled engine down there that I'm currently refurbishing. But that's a story for another day. Right. Shout if things are not in focus, because I can't really see. There's got a tiny screen when I'm seeing this window. I've got that hot glue gun. It's awesome. Yes, it is, JP. That's because we're basically the same person. Yeah, always have an angle grinder close to hand, Caro. Green tool. It is green. Oh, is this even plugged in? Yep. Not the correct way to test. Right, well that's warming up. Let's go through the spring hinge, springe mechanism. So I've got 2 door hinges, and then I've got a 3rd door hinge, which I have cut the sides off, and I've got 2 of these kind of springs. Somebody could maybe tell me what kind of springs these are, if they have a name. Oh, my camera's drunk. Oh, it's trippy. I bet Dr. Malty knows. Do these springs have a name, Dr. Malty? No idea? This room is much cleaner than I expected. That's because I tidied up this morning. Hey Andy! Is this the engine block you tore down in a previous versionally crafty? Yes it is! Well remembered. That's what they call a callback in the trade. That was actually one of the options for today, was to rebuild the engine and see if we could do it in an hour, because we failed miserably to do the teardown in an hour. But putting an engine back together is a lot easier than taking it apart. He says, as if he's ever done it before. This is the principle. So 2 full hinges either side, 1 hinge in the middle that's sprung, screwed into the aluminium plate, and then I'm hoping that will just hold it kind of suspended in mid-air, and you can push it down with the foot pedal. Let's just go for it. Pilot holds, please. We do things sensibly here. Jenny and Forrest will be better, Jeff. I can hear them, Jenny and Jeff. Afternoon all. Afternoon, Richard. I expected a Suzuki Vitara that had been disassembled and reassembled indoors. That's pretty much exactly what is going on in my life right now. There are 3 on the driveway that are disassembled, and there's an engine hoist in the hallway. Those are some springs, alright. Those are some springs, yes. The technical name for them is springs. I'm not sure how much slop is in these hinges, but I'm just going to eyeball it. Now, in case it wasn't clear, the clever system here is that these hinges on either side stop the springs from coming out, because otherwise they just pop out. Sometimes I actually have good ideas. Now, I do have some screws, but they might be a bit big for this. These are for the wood, obviously not for the aluminium. Oh, they're perfect. So, dry the bits. Yeah, that's enough extreme close up for now. Phillips 2. That'll be I'm making a glaringly obvious mistake and somebody's noticed, please can you shout out, because I'm definitely not paying attention. Torsion springs, thank you, Mr. Pugh. I know someone paid attention in school. Let's call it a 7. Do you ever play Guess the Torque setting on your drill driver? That's a good game to play. I think these screws into plywood is a 7. Yeah, I'll do. Good morning, Dead Rise Woodcrafts. Expect things to be suspended in mid-air. It's usually a bad idea. Yeah, especially when it's a massive engine. Graham, even though I live hundreds of miles from you, every time I see a Vitara, I always look at the driver just thinking, it could be me, Graham. You never know. No, 7 was way off. Let's go 10. So now they are stuck in there, wedged in, not going anywhere. That gets attached to there, and hopefully, I mean the angle's a bit off, but what are you going to do? So we could now stand that up, drill some holes. Let's see what we're doing. That is not flat. It's kind of need to be a little more centered than the ones in the wood. So I'm hoping these screws will go into the aluminium. They're kind of like bolt screws. I don't really know the difference. They're kind of a little bit more like bolts. So if we tap maybe with a 3mm and then just power them home, I think that's maybe a bit big. I'll do. There we go. Let's try that. You can always make a hole bigger. That's what she said, Chottle. Right. This might make horrible squeaky noises, but I don't care. Let's mix the camera up a little bit. Hey Carl, nice of you to join us. I wish I could see your glorious hair. And Robin's in the house. This project has used 3 times the amount of planning as usual. I resemble that comment. Anyone up for some Gret's words? Hells yeah. Right, 20 minutes left. Let's do this. Oh. Safety police will be watching. That is too fast for the drilling through metal. Why do you punch the holes first? Because I'm inside a house. Oh, see, anyone who's watched my live streams before knows that I don't have very good drill bits. So if anyone wants to be a star and get me some decent drill bits, I know they're only cheap. I just don't like spending money on anything, as you can tell, because I'm using scrap to make a project. Oh, that's better. Oh, snapped another one. Right, we need to rethink this. We're not going to get in. Let's go get some more drill bits. Back in a sec. We'll see if these screws go in anyway. Let's try one in that hole. Got a tapered one now. What size is that hole? Right, I think we've got a bit bigger. Let's go for a big one. Yeah, perfect. Right. Well, that helps. Get one in, see if it works. Why don't you use some WD-40 on the screws? Oh. Because he used it all last night, cleaning an engine down. Right, so that should go like that. Think that lines up? Let's get one in that end and go from there. That'll do. There we go. Yay! So that is, in theory, the foot pedal. Boink, boink, boink. Boink, boink, boink. I used a drill doctor a lot at the steel yard. Someone had to fix the heavily studented drill bits. Yes, I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Little beeswax on the drill bit. Ooh, good shout. I do have wax. I don't have any oil. Mark says he'll send me some. Thanks, Mark. I could also just use an actual drill press and do it properly. I mean, it's only aluminium. You should go through this like batter. I have a drill bit sharpener that works pretty well. Nice. Can you buy me a set of drill bits? Yes, Graham, you can. There should be a crafty where it's Al versus Franco in a cook-off. There should be, JP. Let's make that happen next time, whenever the next one is. It's a mess. Lathe 5 game. Late to the game. He's making a mess. He's making a foot pedal that's been wired up to an arcade gun, so we can play Time Crisis at home with all the goodness of playing in an arcade. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty springy. I'm impressed with that. Right. Hey everybody. Hey Dr. Nick. Right. So if we hot glue them that there, and we hope that is enough closure, I think we're laughing. Let's just go for it. What is there to lose, eh? Oh. Sorry, Soph. That was just for you. No, it's a little too hot, you know what I mean? Can't see what I'm doing. I mean, this is proper shonky behaviour, this. And also, the good thing about smothering in hot glue like this, it protects the wiring. I've just got to sit here until that cools. What's I supposed to do? How long left we got? 13 minutes. So as soon as this dries, we'll try and turn on the PlayStation, hook it up, and see if the pedal works. Makita give you a max torque setting for fastening on the data. Oh, of course they do. But there is nothing on what the numbers mean, because obviously it'll be pretty number. Yes, the numbers are arbitrary, but I kind of get used to what setting needs what. Like you're drilling into CLS, you know, it takes no torque at all. Something brings memories back to Andy. I'm not sure what. Time for some hot glue fillets. Yeah, let's just relax for a bit while we wait for the glue to dry. Oh, it's like a average Joe segment. I mean, it's literally just still the molten make. Now, if this was glued to the aluminium, because of the thermal conductivity, it would work as a huge heatsink and it would be dry in seconds. But it's not. It's glued to wood, which is a rubbish conductor. Am I going to go off and get a drill bit and drill a hole for this switch? I am, aren't I? That kind of works. We're getting there. Just going to hyperventilate. There we go. Before we start ruining our whole project. Oh no! The hot glue is dripping on the cable. It's not going to get us very far. Electronic work done. Woodwork, metalwork and glue work done. Now it's all about testing and see if we can get it to work. So obviously that is not going to take a lot of abuse from grown ass man's foot, but we'll test the principle and see if it works. I'm going to find a bit more hot glue in there. Just fill it up. I'll put it on a bit of an angle so it matches the angle of incidence of the pedal. So what did Al do? Oh, he just watched glue dry for about 10 minutes. It was exhilarating. You could laboriously use a torque wrench and note each one down. You could! Actually, I could do with one of those low torque wrenches, like an inch-pound torque wrench. or foot ounce, or whatever freedom units are. Because I've only got a heavy duty one. Hot glue Philip. No, this is hot glue Al. Hey Jan. If you've 3, you're either deformed or having a good time. And what if you're both? Oh, it's all wonky again. Right, let's just leave that to dry and try and get the PlayStation hooked up. Right. Oh, it's all skew wiffles. Stay there. Whoop. Power lead. How long's left? 9 minutes left to test. Plug it in. AV cable. Oh, look at this. I remember opening that bad boy up when I first got my PS2. Very satisfying. Kettle lead, as is tradition. Console with a switch, like an actual power switch on the back. So I know it's good. Right. Use the front AV for now. And then you've got to go via that cable. Do something like this. Got a reach. That's fine. Your camera died. Right. That's all plugged in. Try and get a bit more of the screen in. Ta-da! Right, on we go. I think that switch is sufficiently switched. Hot glue button can come off. Remember analog TV? I remember. Right. AV. Let's plug a controller in just in case it doesn't work. Listen to that sound. Listen to it. What an amazing bit of audible branding that is. Hey Alan. Rasmus is here. Hi Al, what am I making? I'm making, Jan, a proof of concept foot pedal for a gun con to play Time Crisis with the foot pedal. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party, Richter. You are a mess, Rasmus. Old enough to remember those TVs. Good TVs, you mean? Right, we're on. This is where it asks me to calibrate the gun and it doesn't work. Ugh. Oh, there we go. Right, press A. Oh, we could have pressed that button, because that's also A. Is this going to work? We've got 3 minutes. 3 minutes left! We knew this was going to happen. Time crisis. Right, I'm going to put that in shot so we can actually see.
Here they come. 5 maybe.
Right, that controller's not working. Right, so that is basically crouch when you press that button. So hopefully if I press this button on the pedal, yes! It works! So that's your foot pedal. Action! 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 Boom! We did it. And then I'm going to die. The gun is not calibrated at all, by the way. Look, you can't even see the thing on screen. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Action! Right, that's enough of that. I think we did it. For the first time, we actually completed something in an hour. Thanks for watching, guys. I believe Heidi is up next. Definitely go and check out her stream. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to grab another beer. You do the same. Stay hydrated. Thanks to JP and Carl for setting up Virtually Crafty. And here's to the rest of the day and some amazing content. Woohoo! Time to spare. What a pro. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff's proud of me. Thanks, Huey. Nice. Proper arcade feeling. You know it, Jan. Success. The TV I had in my room when I was a kid was black and white. My TV I had in the room was black and white as well, John. You're not that old. Can I have that telly? No, you cannot, Dom. Right, cheers, guys.